really have to understand that what we maybe as black women or as black people see as against white women's autonomy or even their economic interests. If you're a white woman in America, Joy, and you still feel that your best chance to provide for yourself and your children lies in the upholding of the patriarchy, the upholding of a white supremacy system that allows for whiteness to stand atop any other identity in this nation, then yes, actually you would argue that it is very much in your interest to uphold and support a president who has made it his top agenda item to keep those things in place. That's my rant on white women, and now I'll move on. Final question. 2020 looks like it will be a rematch of President Biden and Trump. What do you expect the outcome to be? I know you don't have a crystal ball, Joy, but you're very, very steeped on this stuff.
Well, and just to your point, to put a punctuation on your point, W.E.B. Du Bois called that the wages of whiteness.
Later.
Well, the axe is falling at Byron Allen's TheGrio. Several people have been laid off in their podcast and video teams, including their managing editor, Christy Oglesby. This is the statement the company released. Allen Media is making a strategic change to better position the company for growth that will result in expense and workforce reductions across all divisions. Among those cuts, they've ended all their different shows except one involving Teray. So Marc Lamont, who had a daily show at airing around 6 p.m. On TheGrio. That show has been canceled. They hadn't even had the show. It hasn't aired for the last 3 weeks. Ebony Williams had a show that followed Mark. Her show has also been canceled as well. Now, remember, Byron Allen purchased the assets of Black News Channel for $11 million, buying up the distribution. He then used that to launch the Grio TV. And so those shows are being canceled. And if you look at the Black-owned media landscape, other than what we do here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network, that was the only daily shows on any black-owned media outlet. And so if you look at right now, if you look at the linear cable networks, you look at TV One, you look at Revolt, you look at Afro Channel, you look at those are all black-owned. Clio TV, TV One owns them as well. There are no daily news shows on those platforms. Even if you look at Revolt has a weekly show, you look at BET, they've got a monthly magazine show. That's all they have there, and so it's really just us. Ebony has nothing. Essence has nothing. Blavity has nothing. Black Enterprise has nothing, and you can look across the board.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Unfortunately for the pro-blackity blacks, the woke revolutionaries, I have to give another lesson in capitalism, which shouldn't be surprising because the communists either don't understand capitalism or they hate capitalism, okay? Probably a little bit of both. I personally think that the communists hate capitalism because they're lazy, okay? Lazy people tend to not like capitalism. People that work really hard tend to love capitalism because for the most part, capitalism rewards hard work as long as you're working smart enough, okay? Now, if you're not working smart, but you're working really hard, then you're not going to benefit from capitalism as much as you should. So I always suggest people, if they want to get the most out of capitalism, to work hard, work smart, and take risks, especially the take risk part, right? If you do at least 2 of the 3, okay? If you work hard and you take risks, or you work hard and you work smart, or you work smart and you take risks, you'll probably be okay, right, under capitalism. You'll probably like capitalism, okay? And yeah, this story right here is a lesson in capitalism because once again, we have another one of these woke, black-owned networks failing, okay? Because this business model does not work, okay? I made basically the same video that I'm about to make today, probably a couple years ago when the Black News Channel collapsed, okay? Basically went bankrupt because, again, there's no market for this, okay? And now I'm making a video about TheGrio, okay? TheGrio is an outlet that decided to make the very unwise choice of buying up the assets of the Black News Channel. I believe that's what they did. And yeah, it's not working out, okay? They hired some people that were working at the Black News Channel, like Marc Lamont, who we all know believes that men can have babies, and he recently revisited that debate that he had with Candace, where he basically tried to explain to his audience why what he said actually makes sense, even though it's just biologically not true.
Trans men have babies. Trans men, transgender men have babies. Now, so if we're going to have a conversation or a debate, and I don't particularly want to have a debate about people's identity or affirming people's humanity, so that's not a debate I want to have, but I respect people's right to engage that if they want to. But at the end of the day, let's be honest about what we're saying here. You're not actually saying, Mark thinks men can have babies and I disagree with him. What you're actually saying is, Mark affirms trans men as men and I don't want to do that. Or Mark affirms trans women as women and I don't want to do that. That's the actual conversation. But the problem is, and this is to Rosability's point, it's easier politically to stand in public and say men can't have babies, duh, to me, than it is to say trans men aren't really men, because then you actually seem like you're denying someone their identity. Then you actually seem like a bigot. Then you seem like you are doing harm to people. And so they don't want to do that. So they twist it. Now, this is just a rhetorical sleight of hand. This is just a debate around identity and how identity is represented. So that shouldn't be a particularly challenging conversation to have, except we live in an age of misinformation and disinformation.
Yeah, so Marc Lamont Hill went on to basically explain why people misunderstood him, because he believed that gender is a social construction. Therefore, that makes his statement reasonable, right? Even though, I mean, everybody knows that, again, this guy's just woke. And again, these are the type of hosts that they're trying to market to black people who tend to be, you know, on this issue, at least, more on the conservative side. Also, they hired Ebony K. Williams, who got a lot of backlash from black people for essentially saying that she would not date a bus driver, aka she's too good for the average hardworking blue-collar man.
So know that I am completely unfazed by the onslaught of nasty comments, wishing me a sad, lonely, bitter existence until my untimely death. Now, that is some weird energy to be wishing onto a black woman, especially one who has dedicated her life to the liberation of black folk. But, you know, whatever, I guess, go off. I was talking about black ownership, but some of y'all made it about money. I'm talking about ownership, black enterprise, and entrepreneurship, because really I am talking about black liberation. And if you read my book, you'll understand why. So I'm standing 10 toes down on that position, and I don't really care if you're hurt or offended by it. And since some of y'all are already big mad, let me go ahead and make you incensed. So out of the 50,000 plus comments posted on social, I only saw a handful that even considered the possibility of a bus owner being a more aspirational position, and recognizing that I am actually speaking and pouring into the ascension of black men when I said what I said. But see, no, some of y'all were too busy naming and shaming me personally and black women in general as undesirable, gold diggers, and much worse. Now, I suspect that some of y'all are the same men that were bringing home C's and D's on your report cards, only to then be coddled by parents that said, well, that's okay, as long as you're doing your best.
Yo, these stories are hilarious to me, bro. These stories are so hilarious. I don't know why any of these networks think this is a good idea to hire these characters, right? And think that you're going to make money. You're not going to make money with these people, bro. I don't know how many times Marc Lamont Hill has to get laid off. How many times you got to get fired for people to realize, bruh, come on. There's just not an audience for this. They're just not, okay? I'm sorry. It's just not. So anyways, let's read about TheGrio and their layoffs, okay? Because, again, this is another failure from so-called black-owned media. And we're going to talk about it. So let's read here. TheGrio, Byron Allen's multi-platform media outlet catering to black Americans, laid off staffers in a restructuring effort that is also eliminating the managing director's position, according to an individual with knowledge of the situation. Quote, the axe is falling at TheGrio, an individual with knowledge of the situation told The Wrap. Members of the podcast and video team have also been laid off, along with the managing editor Christy Oglesby, the individual said. Quote, Allen Media Group is making strategic changes to better position the company for growth that will result in expense and workforce reductions across all divisions, the company said in a statement to The Wrap. The spokesperson declined the specific layoffs. The company's brands continue to perform well in many areas. Our revenue growth has greatly outpaced the market. We are aligning these changes to drive future business opportunities and support our growth strategies in our rapidly evolving industry, Allen Media Group said. Yeah, this sounds like Coke to me. Sounds 100% like Coke. But again, they bought the assets of the Black News Channel, which was a failing channel that had absolutely no chance of being successful. So they're probably kind of cutting their losses when it comes to that purchase, right? That was just a dumb thing to do. TheGrio was acquired by Allen Media Group in 2016, which also owns 27 network affiliate broadcast television stations in 21 U.S. markets. The outlet prides itself as being the largest Black newsroom in the country, reporting on the latest news and politics, entertainment, and lifestyle content. Alongside a website, TheGrio features live events, a cable network, and a podcast network. In March, Allen Media Group reached a new multi-year agreement with Charter Communications that will allow the Spectrum owner to continue to carry the group's offerings, including TheGrio. All right, so again, what's going on here? Well, what's going on here is the exact same problems that the Black News Channel had, in the sense that there is not a market for this, okay? When you tell over half the country, in this case, I mean, you're really telling 70 to 80%, but you're really telling at least 60%, aka white people, don't watch our show, right? This channel is not for you. When you do that, what you do is that you create a market that is too niche, okay? Because now you're saying, hey, well, our channel is only for Black folks. Now, we know that they don't like conservative Blacks, so they're not going to have any Black people with conservative opinions that, I mean, let's be honest, are far more marketable and have a far larger audience than Black liberals, okay? Because there's nothing special about a Black liberal. A Black liberal has nothing interesting to say because they're all the same, right? They all say the same stuff. They're all on the same page. And again, this is why they struggle when it comes to having successful shows. Like, for example, I want you guys to notice. Have you guys noticed something? It doesn't matter whether that's mainstream liberal media or even alternative media. If you look at these Black liberal shows, none of them really have a large audience. Okay? I'm so serious. Look at CNN. Don Lemon, fired. Look at Tiffany Cross, MSNBC, fired. Zerlina Maxwell was working at MSNBC, fired. All these individuals are woke. All of them are Black. They lose their job because nobody cares what they have to say. I'm so serious. I can't think of one like truly kind of independent Black liberal political commentator, okay, outside of Roland Martin, right, on YouTube, okay? We know he's independent because he has to be independent. I mean, he got fired too from mainstream liberal media, okay, just like Marc Lamont Hill. Outside of him, I can't think of another one with an actual significant following. I can't. That you know, consistently gets viewership. And we know Roland Martin, even he struggles. He struggles. So again, to me, it has become very apparent that there's just not a market for this. And this is what happens when you market yourself to a very small minority of people in this country. It's just a disaster, right? It doesn't work. And furthermore, nobody watches TV or consumes media as a demographic more than Black folks, right? So it's not like the potential eyeballs aren't there. It's just that Black people don't care that much, right? Black people do not consume that much political content, okay? So when you're marketing political content to 13% of the population, a vast majority of them not interested in political content whatsoever, okay? And then you're alienating, you know, half of the country. Plus, you're telling Black people who don't agree with you, who are not liberal, that you're sellouts, you're racial slurs, you ain't really Black. This is a business model that is destined to fail every single time. And it has failed every single time it has been tried. And I guarantee you there'll be another genius that'll come out the woodwork, say, I got this great idea. I'm going to start a network for Black folks, right? And guess what they're going to do? They're going to talk about liberal politics, right? This is what they're going to do. None of them will be smart enough to start a network that is not specifically just for Black folks. But, you know, hey, has a lot of black conservatives that, you know, talk about issues that a lot of people in this country are concerned about and that can actually reach a wide audience of people, that can actually reach a diverse group of people, right? Because black conservatives aren't stupid enough to tell large swaths of individuals, hey, my show is not for you, right? Don't watch my show if you're white. Don't watch my show if you're a black liberal. Don't watch my show if you're a Latino. Black conservatives don't do that, right? Black conservatives aren't that dumb. But I can't say that about these individuals starting some of these black networks that lean liberal, okay? Because again, they're all going to do the same business model every single time, and it's going to fail every single time, okay? I guarantee you. This is the one business I would never invest in. I would never touch a business like this, okay? It's like burning your money on fire. It really is. But again, what will happen is you'll have people like Roland Martin that will play the victimhood card. Oh, whoa, it's black media. Why don't the government support black media more? Why doesn't advertisers support black media more? AKA, why won't the white man give us some more money, right? Give us a handout because we're black, okay? This is what they say. But it's like, yo, black people don't even support your show. Black people don't even support your network. Because if black people were supporting your network the same way they support some of these other industries, hey, the advertising dollars will be coming in, right? The advertisers will be lining up to support the network, and the network would be thriving if the network could get viewership. But again, these people aren't even smart enough to figure out that, okay, you know, if we're going to have a network that has, you know, a lot of black faces, maybe we just shouldn't come at it from a liberal angle all the time. Maybe we actually came at it from a different angle, right? Maybe a conservative angle. Maybe that might actually attract a larger and broader audience that'll watch our stuff, and it'll make our network more attractive for advertisers, right? We make more money, but again, none of them seem to be smart enough to figure this out. Again, you know, it is what it is, but I just find it to be fascinating how this experiment fails every single time. Right. And I have to make this video every few years saying, well, I told you so. OK. But again, these are the same individuals that boo-hoo and cry about white supremacy. This ain't got nothing to do with the white man. This has everything to do with the fact that even black folks don't support these so-called black networks. They don't. They don't. And again, it's not like black people don't watch TV. They do. They just don't want to watch you. And that's why these people get so upset with black conservatives. And they have all these things to say about black conservatives because here's the kicker, right? The so-called white supremacists, right? The people that's supposed to be holding black people back. It seems as if they seem to support black conservatives more than black people support black liberals. And that's what they're really mad about. That's what they're really upset about. But there's no reason to be upset with black conservatives. You should actually be upset with your black audience that's not riding with you. They're not supporting you the way that they should be. And this is why these networks continue to fail over and over and over again. So, hey, what do I know, right? I'm just some dude on the internet. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.